So I am here live with Beatnik. In Peterstown, West Virginia, near Pearisburg. Taking a break, enjoying some afternoon sun, and we're going to do a little interview. So here live with Beatnik on day 67. This is the first time I've come to see him while he's on the trail. So my first question is, of course, how much did you miss me?
A lot.
A lot. I don't know if that was convincing, but but we're very happy to see you. I brought Cody with me. Cody, say hi. He was happy to see you as well. So how are you feeling? 67 days, over 600 miles at this point. Getting close to 700 miles, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 640, 642, something like that.
All right.
Yep.
You're feeling good. You're looking awfully skinny.
Yeah, feeling good and lost about 25 pounds so far.
And you feel good at the lighter weight, even though you really didn't need to lose.
Yeah, I do. I feel much better. Yeah, I feel a lot lighter. Yeah, feel good.
And
knock wood.
And your mileage seems to be picking up.
Yeah, I'm averaging now about 15 miles a day.
Okay.
Yep. So, longest so far has been 22, but 15 is a good average right now. Feel pretty good, and probably going to stick with that for a while.
And so you were just telling me that you're going to go 5 days without a zero. That's your new plan.
The new strategy is at least do 5 days before I do a zero, with that, I think I can do a little over 100 miles a week, which I think would be good with out pushing it. It's still enjoying the trail, but also still, getting the miles I need so I can complete it on at a fairly convenient time.
Do you have like a target completion?
I think I would like mid-August, I think would be good.
Okay.
So that'd be a little over 6 months. So, the average is anywhere between 5 and 7 months. So that put me about just a little over 6 months, 6.5 months. I think that'd be good, especially my age. I would be good with that.
Great. So what would you say was your biggest challenge so far?
The biggest challenge was probably the first part of the trail was really tough. I don't know if people realize that, but the first couple hundred miles and just sticking with it. And, and then by doing less miles a day, I managed to get through the tough sections by only doing 8 to 10 miles, and then doing either a hostel or just the challenge was the early terrain.
Now, the physical or mentally?
Physically, I think. Mentally, I enjoy being out here. I like it, and I've always liked the outdoors. So it was more of being, I think, 65 years old, and although I did about 100 some miles prior to coming out, shakedown hikes, which was very good, very beneficial, and I would recommend people doing that. If you're thinking about doing a long distance hike, it's as people have said, till to prepare for it, you really need to be out here hiking it. But it was tough early on, and then you get a routine, you get familiar, and of course other hikers are super supportive and helpful, and giving you tips and information that makes your day-to-day hike a little easier and a little more enjoyable, so that helped. But the challenge, I think, was physically tough, especially the first couple hundred miles. And with that, that's why I think a lot of people drop out early on, because it is demanding. But Not saying it gets easier after you get past that, but the terrain, I guess you get your hiker legs, of course. You lose some pounds. You dial in your equipment, and some of that is you might get rid of some of the extra weight you're carrying, maybe winter gear, stuff like that, which all helps. And you get stronger.
Yeah, between your weight loss and getting rid of the winter gear, you're
big
like
difference.
going without a whole pack.
Well, and at the same time, the terrain, like I say, doesn't get a lot easier, but it gets somewhat easier. Some of the sections, and all that is just a plus, and all that is helps keep you going, right?
Now, you were telling me before though that it has been really hard, which I think on the videos doesn't quite come through as how hard it is, because you have such a cheerful disposition. And we see the we see the parts when you can film. The parts that are really hard, you're not filming because
usually
you're
on the climbs I don't film because I'm huffing and puffing, and nobody wants to hear anybody, especially me, huffing and puffing. Old man climbing up a big mountain.
I think we would, but
okay. Well, I will take that under consideration, and I could add that, and then we could see what the viewers think. Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Some huffing and puffing.
Huffing and puffing up some climbs, and probably and a little bit of sweating there. Actually, a lot of sweating. But yeah, I've just omitted those sections, but it is very tough climbs. There's some also beautiful level sections, and a lot of other, views, of course, all that. It's all part of the package, right? You take the good and the bad, and even the climbs. At the end, you get the view. Usually, not always. Sometimes you get to the top, and there's not much of a view, and you just go on. But that's.
You also are saying that you were kind of surprised at how many people were following along and like commenting.
Yes,
because you really kind of started this for your family and.
I did,
and
yes, and
friends and stuff.
A couple of times, I think I mentioned in the videos, and I'll mention now that the comments super positive, super appreciate the positivity and the just the friendliness and encouragement that I've gotten from the viewers. That on the tough days, and even speaking with other thru-hikers who are also vlogging, how much it means to them, how much it means to me. We talk about the comments that keep us going and encourage us on a tough day. At the end of the day, if you have a cell phone or Wi-Fi access to read some of the comments of how we inspire and encourage other people, and it means a lot. Yeah, it means a really great deal. I hope the viewers realize that, and but it really, it really helps us, especially on those tough days, to come into camp and read, hey, keep going, you're doing a great job, you got this. It's please keep the comments coming. They really help us. So.
Well, I think we've definitely been enjoying watching your hike, and
I've enjoyed, being out there and doing it, and of course, I've got Valerie to thank for all her great executive editing and keeping me straight and guiding me along on what I need to say, and especially being more informative on the things I'm talking about. And
but yeah, people are interested in, like, I think they are, on setting up camp and what you're eating and you know,
and I think before I took that for granted, not thinking they would really care, or they're more into the views and the scenery. But no, I think absolutely. I mean, besides that, they do want to know, how I get my drinking water, how I make a cup of coffee. And, yeah, happy to start being more informative on those things and everything else in the day-to-day life of a thru-hiker. So, yep, I will definitely be adding more information and details, just the day-to-day things going on the trail.
Well, great, thanks. And then I'm sure I will see you again in probably a couple hundred miles, 100 miles?
A couple hundred miles.
A couple
yes.
hundred miles, I'll
Yep.
see you again. We'll do a follow-up, see how you're seeing then.
Yep. Yeah.
So we live in Northern Virginia, so it's easier for me to come and see you in Virginia, and then we'll also be following you up north.
Thanks for watching.